Hello everyone, I hope you are all well. Today I wanted to talk about probably the collective energy we're getting, but especially when it's the war in the Middle East and it's a bit of smoking guns, etc. And if you do watch the predictions, you will understand what I mean. Because they do provide you with greater insight into the energy and the psychic downloads that I have, the direction of stuff. In addition, all the prediction and theme guidance for the months are actually enablers, empowerments, and also empowerers, and also um, bring you into greater awareness. Okay, so very helpful, even if it's going back to February or whatever it is, because the dynamic of the year continues. And obviously, next we have June coming up. June's predictions, which will be also the themes and guidance for the month, and then you've got your individual signs. But also, there was a recent video that I did in terms of energy guidance during this time, and I think the week or two prior to that, I did that as well. I um, it was more or less, trying to come into your heart space, a grounding, and it really does help during this time, even though I think it only got a couple of views. So I would always revert to those videos. I'll try to link the last one that I did. It doesn't matter if it's a week ago. This is energy guidance for the whole year, and I actually state it in it, and I think I might have put a comment as well. Um, so currently, what is happening? Is there a global reset? Is it global resets? Um, what is it all trying to tell us about the world when we just take a bird's eye view or monitor it from, um, you know, a kind of like a standing back energy? Um, it feels energetically heavy because we have challenges individually, in our countries, and also global challenges that are conflicting over different countries as well, and covering over, spanning over different countries against each other, etc. There's financial stress, and the wars, there's the economic downfall, upturns, there's the social media propaganda, social media arguments that we might be witnessing, and also polarization, rumors, anything hungry to make money when it comes to social media. So that's something that I said at the very beginning of this year, and I will be recapping some of the holistic energies that I mentioned this year, and you've already seen them coming and playing out. People are exhausted, and this is even psychologically um, feeling challenged, even if we're not aware of it. We are, a lot of us are feeling psychologically challenged. And I was thinking, and I took some notes, and history moves in cycles, humans move in cycles, so everything moves in cycles. So, where are we in this current cycle? I would say, we are in a current cycle. What I see and what I gather from the energies and the downloads, um, is that we are at the final stages of a certain cycle. Um, which means there's a natural connection to an ending, and it could mean with that it's psychologically heavy. There's karma, there's purging, and this is like globally, which affects us collectively and down. Um, but as this is happening, we're also rebirthing and preparing for the new, and that can cause a bit of confusion as well, because we feel something is happening, and it just feels like we're waiting for the needle to drop. And I mentioned this in the prediction, like some people think that the needle's just going to drop and that's the old gone away. And I think, that's what a lot of us might want to hear. But because it's been so deep rooted, and it's so malefic, and it's so built on frameworks of years and decades, that would be just too much for us to handle, despite the new being even better for us. So we've mentioned in my predictions and guidance, we've discussed old systems, governments that have to go away and are deep rooted. A collective restlessness is the last video I did, which unfortunately not many have seen it, and I think it's very useful for this period of time. So if you think it would be useful, please do share it. The algorithm wants AI, so and I don't know what to say with the energy that we put into some stuff in life, but so relationships between countries are not smooth, systems, governments are not smooth, people are tired, there's karmic instability, there's confusion, there's increased pressure on a cost of living, inflation, and it is all tied in, and everyone's tired, and it all needs just clearing. Okay. There's this elephant in the room kind of thing with the Middle East. You know, there's, with that, you know, I've already said, but there's going to be periods where it cools down and it looks like it's just going to fizzle out because they didn't get what exactly was wanted. So there's periods of cooling down, but suddenly there could be another escalation or a movement or an action that escalates in some kind of way. So I think it's going to take some time. And I see that some leaders don't even know what's happening. You know, they just take an action, or some leaders are just, you know, standing with this side, that side. Some leaders don't know what to do. They don't know, they can't see clearly where it's going. And they're also muddled in terms of what to do, where it's heading, what is the gain right now? Is it the same as what it was? So I do see that confusion in a few leaders that I try to tap into to get. So it's not just a war, right? So we think it's a war. It's not just a war. There's social media narratives, there's social media warfare, there's mass media narratives, there's mass media warfare, there's just narratives all over the place. There's AI generated narratives. There's economic, there's trade issues, there's cyber warfare, and all this is affecting us, right? Even if we're not in the region. So it's not just a war. And what we're seeing, even if you're not tapping into it, is a lot of propaganda. There's a lot of false narratives. And with this, mass media is covering the war and conflicting messages. And so a lot of us might think, well, this was done because Iran has nuclear, whatever, etc., and they're crazy, so they could just go ahead and do it. But if we think about it, do you really think that the country of I doesn't have nuclear and is a bit crazy as well? Yes, they won't use it on their besties, but is it their long-term vision is broadening their borders, the Messiah, and also a lot of them are the zeniths in the financial frameworks, the billionaires and behind the curtain. So it all ties in. So if you see my videos, you can see how they're all kind of tying in. So you know, that's something we just need to think about. The real problem won't be resolved now regardless of a ceasefire, and I honestly don't know where it is in terms of news anymore for the past month. But I see for the economy of the US, it's not going to collapse, because I think this is something that there's worry about it. However, there is a banking system that's changing and financial system that's changing that I've mentioned. And with that going on in the background and slowly leaking into the forefront, it might be, people might think it's connected to the dollar or the US economy collapsing. It is going to be unstable for the US, the economy. The system is under immense pressure. There's debt I could see debt, banking stress, and the markets. Well, the markets are very emotional, though even the headlines around the markets are a bit like a teenager entering puberty, right? It's all over the place. So again, that's something where I've also said how they strategically don't act at like a weekend or something, or certain periods to show the market is stable. Okay, um, that's in my predictions and guidance as well. So if we've seen that, you'll know how this is tying in. This period of time speaks to me commodities and illusion, and confusion is what I see around those things. Europe and the UK, people are going to continue to feel the pressure around inflation, the cost of living, taxes, the utilities cost, the electricity, etc., while they're building data centers, cough, cough, jobs, also job unsettlements. And we might get messages that inflation is improving as per those that message this, but people don't feel it. People are not going to feel it. They'll feel increased, and this is coming up very shortly. They'll feel increased pressure that they feel shows a disconnect between what is being said and what is actually happening. That causes kind of like emotional disconnect too. It can also create psychological effect of heaviness, because there's also something that's not working. This is what we've been told, but something's not working. There's higher costs. We feel the pressure on income, etc. And this is even for those that are not having a feeling a very tight pinch or a pinch, but they're feeling the higher costs. So it's not aligning with what's being told. Now the old will end, okay? The tech acceleration, old systems, frameworks are ending. Tech is being accelerated. AI is transforming society. Now, even just in the next 5 years, by 5 years' time, this is going to all look very different. And I'd invite you to go back to It's a Members video, where I talk about the phases of AI, and it takes you all the way up to 2030 and the tech and what phases I think it's going to be done, and the phases in the background as well. There's other stuff I've done on that as well. So all this can cause instability, and instability is what is a bit of a I'll go into this as well in the next video, is something that is aimed at, right? Is aimed for us to feel. You can check my predictions on that as well. And so the guidance and the videos that I do are important. But for the inner stability, I'd revert to some of the things, key things that I've mentioned for us to do. And this also goes for myself to do, right? But I just wanted to give that update. I hope it was useful. This is just a short video. I hope everyone had a lovely, I'm actually recording it on the day, Memorial US Day, Memorial Day in the USA. And also I will be back with June predictions, guidance and themes, and other videos. If you feel this content is worth a like, a comment, a share, subscribing, a hyping, then please do. If you want any of my services, they are in the YouTube bio. And yeah, there's other content coming out. I'll leave it there. Take care and stay blessed. Bye for now.